So I wanted to come and share a little bit of what happened with day 2 of the Love and Money workshop. We did a recap of day 1 where we kind of discussed the concepts of the internal thermostat for all aspects of our life, love and money, and how when we are above a set amount of love, a set amount of money, we will begin to subconsciously sabotage. And when there's not enough, we begin to feel really uncomfortable. And then we seek out ways to get to that set level. In day 2, we talked about setting the goals for this workshop. And what I touched on was setting a true goal. And what is a true goal? A true goal is simply something that you would love to have for the sake of having it, as opposed to setting goals that are not really your desires. Primarily setting goals to solve some kind of psychological tension or setting a goal that solves a problem. Examples given were relationship hopping, where the goal is to enjoy this amazing, beautiful love experience, not getting it, and then hopping from person to person, experience to experience. Same thing can be said for job hopping and people pleasing, where there's this thing that we really desire, but there's something inside of us that says you actually can't have it. And we're going to set these goals as a way to try to compensate or make it happen. And then we got a little bit more drilled down to the psychological tension and barriers to really achieving our true goals. And examples of that psychological tension that we can experience include setting a goal that resolves a negative belief. You may have a negative belief, an unhelpful belief that people like you are not meant to have big money, or someone like you and your background can never be in a truly loving relationship. You're too damaged or something like that. So that is the negative belief. So then to compensate for that negative belief or to try to resolve that tension, you may set a goal of going from, zero to $100 million. Well, everything is possible, right? But it's just very unlikely that you're going to go from that when you have that underlying belief. You're trying to compensate for the belief that you're not worthy or not deserving. Another tension relieving goal would be the reaction to some unwanted circumstance. That's something that we can see in real time right now, where a lot of people are being laid off, being furloughed, being fired. Different things are happening in the job realm. So in response to that negative experience with your job letting you go, you may have the reaction, well, now I'm going to just create my own business. I never want to have to work for anyone else again, to be at their whim. I'm going to create my own thing. Well, entrepreneurship clearly isn't for everyone. If you've never even had that idea that you want to work for yourself, the idea of going from the employee mindset to the entrepreneur mindset is a tremendous leap. And it's a reaction to something that's happened. So it's not something that you would really love. And because it's not something that you would really love, there are going to be a lot of obstacles and barriers, and the energy around that goal is not going to be what you really want in order for it to manifest for you. Another barrier to really achieving the true goal would be limitations in that goal itself, selling yourself short, to where what you really want is to be your own boss, to be providing the means for other people to enjoy, maintain. You may have a goal of loving relationships, or a primary romantic loving relationship, but there's something inside of you that says, that's not really for me. Even if it's covert, that's not really for me. I don't think I can achieve it. So you may set a lower level goal. Well, what I really want is a person who has, these qualities. They're generous of their time and their resources. They're attentive. That's what you really want. But you may just set a goal for a relationship, just a warm body, a meat sack, just a person who's there, so that you achieved your goal of just having a person having that companionship. However, that's not what you really want. And what I find so common is that people who set goals that are not really their heart's desire, they're going to achieve that goal and it's going to be meaningless to you. Another barrier would be trying to control the outcome. So what's amazing and what's beautiful is that we're not on our own here. We have the resources of other people's energy and the divine, so that you can set a goal and the goal will be this or something better. But because maybe you don't really believe that there's better for you, you'll just have some kind of goal and you want to see it executed XYZ. Well, I want this person to show up in this particular way. When you're so focused on that control, maybe 100 other people could have shown up and done whatever it is that you feel like you needed to get done. But that control element is really blocking, they say blocking the blessings, hyper focus, hyper control, wanting to really micromanage the universe when that really can't be. That is going to be a tremendous barrier to achieving what it is that you want. And again, that control is, side note, when you are the person or you are observing a person who feels like they need to micromanage everyone around them and every circumstance around them, what's actually happening is a lack of a sense of control internally. I can't control what's happening inside of me and in my circumstances. So to compensate for that, I'm going to try to control what's going on outside of me. And indirect goal, taking the long road around. I kind of feel like it may be self-explanatory, but just setting a goal that's not really where you want to be. You're piecemealing it. You're saying to yourself and to the universe, this is what I really want. The universe already knows what it is that you really want. This is what I really want, but I'm going to, take little baby steps towards it. I'm going to say my goal is, again, we'll use the relationship and love. My goal is to have this loving, amazing relationship. That's what I truly, truly want. But instead, I'm going to set a goal of just another human being in my sphere. When we're experiencing that psychological tension, there's a disparity between our energetics, our thoughts, what it is that we really want versus what can actually be created. So that's kind of what we touched on and delved into. And I invited participants to kind of see themselves in those things and maybe look back at your own memories at, okay, this is what kind of happened to me and I see myself here. I invited the participants to really begin to focus in on what their goals may be. And then we got into a meditation that is connecting to our divine selves. It was very beautiful, very relaxing. And through that meditation, with the focus on something for love and money, there was connection with that divine self. And the divine self helped to provide clarity around, okay, this is what I really want. This is what I really want. This is my desire for my heart, for my soul. Very beautiful, very beautiful. So that was a brief recap of day 2. In the description box, I have left a link for you to grab your ticket for the rest of the 5-day workshop where we're focusing in on love and money and just breaking down the barriers to get that thing that we really are desiring. And something that I want to add is when we have a desire that's truly from the heart, that's truly in alignment, it can only serve to be of betterment for not only you and the people around you, but for the world as a whole. As cliche as that may sound, it's for the good of everyone. It's for the good of everyone. So thank you for joining me. I invite you to join me for the rest of the week. And until next time, bye-bye.